Greetings, loved ones. It is nearly impossible to prospectively determine who a sexual predator might be. Someone who looks creepy is no more an offender than a respectable person. As well, just because someone seems respectable does not eliminate him or her as a child molester. Today, we are going to ask the question, how can we spot a child predator? Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You could save a life. How can we spot a child molester? Stereotypes of sexual predators can be misleading. Former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky was on trial in 2012 for allegedly abusing 10 boys during a period of 15 years. The testimony was graphic. One victim, now 25, said he was forced to have oral sex and then threatened to make him stay silent. Another one, in tears, described a frightening sexual incident when he was just 13. Another former coach testified that in 2001 he heard the sound of skin on skin and saw Sandusky naked with a boy in the shower. It looked to him as if the defendant was raping the boy, and victims seeking help were often dismissed. Few believed that Sandusky was capable of such reprehensible treatment, and it is nearly impossible to prospectively determine who a sexual predator might be. As I said before, someone who looks creepy is no more an offender than a respectable person. As well, just because someone seems respectable does not eliminate him or her as a child molester. Accurate prediction based on traits, appearance, or behavior remains outside our reach. Dr. Catherine Ramsland co-authored a book, Inside the Mind of Sexual Predators, with expert Patrick McGrain, who had plenty to say about offenders who molest children. Interviews with and questionnaires given to pedophiles are among their attempts to learn what child molesters say about their desires and behavior. Although the offenders who skulk around playgrounds or have difficulty hiding their desires are obvious, they're not that prevalent. We must be concerned with those who skillfully hide their predilections so that they can practice undetected for years. Pedophiles are often placed into one of four categories. The first is the mysopid. These offenders are interested in molesting and sexually abusing children because they want to physically harm them. A second type is the regressed child offender. This individual generally has relations with adults, but offends against a child because of a stressful event in the offender's life that makes him seek someone he can control. The fixated child offender is stuck at an early stage of psychosexual development. He has little to no activity with people his own age and is often uncomfortable around adults. He loves children and does not want to hurt them, so he rationalizes that abuse is actually affection. Finally, we have the naive pedophile. This is the individual who, for all intents and purposes, has no sense of right and wrong. The offender is often mentally retarded or unstable and does not comprehend the rules of normal society. When researchers Reuben Lang and Roy Frenzel interviewed 52 incest and 50 pedophilic offenders, they found that the average age of child molesters is 34. Updated stats indicate that 25% are over 40. A typical modus operandi is to befriend the parents and offer to babysit the victims. They are attracted to situations in which children are easily attainable and might even set them up. They gradually insert themselves into the victims' lives. Once they achieve success, the most common initial contact is accidental, touching or cuddling. This allows the offender to be close to a child without him or her suspecting that anything out of the ordinary is occurring. If caught, it is easy to say it's a misunderstanding. Unfortunately, many pedophiles also use coercion, frightening the child into compliance with threats against the child or his family. They might also use bribes to ensure silence or gain consent. And in either case, pedophiles will typically misrepresent normal moral standards to gradually seduce children into believing that nothing bad is happening to them. They might also try to shame them into silence. It's important to understand that pedophiles often go undetected because they're so nice. Friends and neighbors of Anthony Barron, age 54, were stunned when he was convicted of 89 offenses against young girls. Barron was a volunteer treasurer for the Boy Scouts and was active in a parent-teachers organization. He knew how to get people to trust him. But over a period of 9 years, he molested at least 11 girls. A typical groomer, Barron befriended the parents first. He came across as reasonable and caring, and he was, after all, a father and grandfather. Some parents allowed him to watch their children when they were away, and he used games, toys, in a charming manner to persuade the girls to cooperate. In his home, he videotaped himself molesting them. After each sexual encounter, Barron used candy to bribe his victims into remaining silent. In one case, Barron had started a relationship with the mother of a prepubescent child he desired before he moved on to the daughter. Understanding the predatory sex offender is paramount to public safety, but it is equally important to know the types of children that pedophiles target. Molesters will often choose victims who are shy, vulnerable, and needy, as well as those deemed socially troubled or isolated, because they know that such children desperately seek a friend. Unfortunately, such children are submissive and inhibited, and so are unlikely to give the offender a hard time if he forces them into a sexual situation. They will also keep the secret, especially if bribed or threatened. When such sexual scandals emerge, people always want to know how the abuse could have gone on for so long without anyone knowing. The truth is, predators can be quite polished in deception. Quite often, they seem ordinary, helpful, and even professional. Since they don't fit a stereotype, it's easier for people around them to brush off the red flags. According to the CDC, over half of all the children in the world, 1 billion children ages 2 to 17, experience violence every year. The question is not if you'll encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. Micah 6:8 says, He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. I want you to know there is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love, and you are not alone. If you are suffering violence, reach out to someone today. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. If you know of a child or other person suffering violence, tell the authorities. In our next episode, we will talk about behaviors to watch out for when adults are with children. Until then, God bless you.